the Property Show, we mostly talk about making the right decisions when it comes to buying a house. But what about selling one and doing it smartly, especially in a slow market where selling a property has become a huge challenge? Let's get you an expert view on selling smartly in a slowdown with Om Ahuja, CEO Residential Services, JLL India. Om, thanks very much for joining in. I read your article and I thought to myself, this is something we have to carry on this show. So, sales have almost come to a halt, specifically in largely investor-driven markets like Gurgaon and Noida. What's your own gut feel? Are the investors caught very badly, or it's more of hearsay and probably just hyperbole?
Well, I would say this is a very peculiar scenario, specifically in NCR, where you see ready apartments are going at a lower rate than the primary apartments. Primarily, we see this happening when you see investors are not too bullish about the market. But what we've seen in the last 2 to 3 weeks, there is a pickup, specifically when it comes to a good deal in the market, specifically when it's a ready apartment.
When you say a good deal, so are you saying that you necessarily, if you need to sell in these times, you have to be extremely modest in your expectation of what the selling price has to be? Which essentially means sell it at a discount, a big one?
I would say discount is a matter of primarily the situation or the product what you're offering. When it goes to looking at a standard apartments being offered on the shelf, there is a very limited space one can look at in terms of if there is currently a primary product is selling in that zone at roughly, let's say, if it's selling at 12,000 rupees, and the ready product can be anywhere getting sold at 10 to 11,000 rupees. So there is 1,000 rupees discount which is currently being offered on the specific zone, and we can see that the number of deals in this space have caught up, and there's a lot more volume happening in that space.
All right, so a lot more volume is happening, because there was a time when we were hearing there are just absolutely no transactions happening in some of the markets of Gurgaon, probably 1 or 2 a month. Okay, so now run us through some of the tips. If I'm a seller today, how do I go ahead and make sure that I'm able to A, sell, that's the most important thing, B, also get a reasonably decent price?
There are 3 things to look at. One primarily is being very realistic on the price expectation. And specifically when it comes to selling an apartment to an end user, look at the person who is coming to you with a checkbook and talking to you in simple terms that there is a price which is reasonable and is not too much of discount to what primary product is being offered in the market. So it is very, very realistic price that needs to be put in place. And second part to this discussion is look at the buyer who is very clear in terms of buying that not as an investment but as an end user. So it's not you're talking to an end user, not an investor. The moment an investor comes in, he or she will look for 30-40% discount to a market price. That's not the case. The third part to this whole discussion is following a very simple and effective process, primarily keeping in mind that you are not negotiating on an ongoing basis with the buyer, but you have to keep it in a very simple and very realistic way. Either follow a bid process or either you follow a negotiation process with the consultant being involved there.
Okay. Now, there are various ways in which I can sell a property. One is to engage with local brokers who then, contact their list of buyers and push the product. The other is actually the online space. Huge place to list a home on sale. Which is a good route to go with? Is it also advisable to list on multiple portals simply because it's a slow market?
But I would say it's a very, again, traditional ways of doing selling an apartment also are very effective today. If one can look at doing a very simple classified, which is also a very effective mechanism to even today into a newspaper, or there is other option is basically go to very effective and reputed websites and list the property there. And that also is a very good mode. And the third part to this is basically assign a broker who is reputed and reliable, most important.
Okay, so Om, correct me if I'm wrong. You're saying use all 3? Give a newspaper classified, list on one of the reputed portals, and also get a good broker?
I would say the effective
right?
most, absolutely you can't do that. One needs to have a lot of time to do all the 3 things together. Primarily, what we have seen is the online is the most cost-effective way of doing things, but it bombards you with a lot of calls and a lot of queries. One needs to have time for doing it. The second thing to do is basically do a classified, which is also a very effective way of reaching out to the serious buyer.
Okay.
Classifieds are cost-effective also, but that also will require time to attend those calls. The third option is go and select one or two restricted quality brokers who can basically help you in this whole exercise, keeping your name and your identity very confidential.
All right, Om, what's your own gut feel about the markets now? You have stock markets which just don't seem to be pausing or breathing, but you have real estate still in doldrums. You say a little bit of pickup, but there is far from seeing the light at the end of the tunnel, isn't it?
Well, I would say stock market doing well, capital markets doing exceedingly well is a very good phenomena for long term for real estate. In short term, yes, capital markets look much more attractive, but there are specific markets we continue to be bullish, and those markets we will continue to surprise us when it comes to price appreciation. Some large markets like Mumbai or NCR may see a little more time to see recovery, but we continue to be bullish on specifically when it comes to markets like Bangalore, Pune, Chennai. These markets continue to increase the job creation scenario, and we believe that in next 12 to 24 months, we will see the kind of price appreciation which has not been seen in last 36 months.
All right, Om Ahuja, pleasure having you with us to share the insights on how do you make a smart move when it comes to selling a property in a slow market.